My boyfriend is expecting me to do whatever he wants in the moment without considering me, yet expects me to adapt to him. My female 39, boyfriend, male 39, of 5 years, has picked up a hobby that I dabble in. I was excited to have a joint interest, only to find out that he is regularly doing it with a female friend while I am at work. It's an activity that can be done solo or with someone as company. When I started to be bothered by the amount of time that they're spending together, and at the same time, his diminishing investment into time with me, he told me that he prefers to do this activity in company, and since I'm not available, he's doing it with this person. A couple of days ago, he proposed for me to join him since our schedules synced. I happily agreed and pointed out that his technique got much better than mine, so I'm asking for some patience from him. He then said that he'll likely do it alone since he wants to feel unrestrained and have some quality time alone. We've spent 48 hours together before after not seeing each other all week. I pointed out that he told me the reason he was doing it with his female friend was because he prefers company and I am unavailable, but now chooses to do it alone, leaving me behind. I also said that whenever we did it together in the past, I was happy to accommodate to his skill level, while I don't see that from him now. He exploded, accusing me of trying to back him into a corner, saying I'm holding him to his past statements that have nothing to do with present day. He feels he is free to do what he chooses in the moment and resents having to explain himself to me, who he says is trying to mess with his head. He later apologized and offered to do our common hobby together, saying he was worried about me feeling self-conscious regarding my now inferior skill and didn't communicate it well. He says he isn't good at communication and that after such a long time of being together, I should be more understanding of it. I find this lack of reciprocity less and less palatable, increasingly unfair, and stressful. How do I address this? In the comments, it sounds like you're feeling left out and undervalued, which is totally understandable. You deserve to have your feelings heard and respected, not just brushed off. OP says, he says that I'm acting like police and he shouldn't have to explain himself to me, that he expects nothing from me he doesn't give. When I point out past examples of where that is not true, he says that it's different or says, fair enough, and is mindful for a week or two. After a while, he apologizes and says he didn't mean to hurt me, but it keeps repeating. Let's call this what it is. He's having an emotional affair and manipulating you when you point out his inconsistencies. His explosion wasn't about feeling backed into a corner. It was about getting caught in his lies. The poor communicator excuse is just another manipulation tactic to make you doubt yourself. He's gaslighting you. He does this hobby with another woman because he prefers company, but suddenly needs alone time when you're available, then explodes when you point out his obvious contradiction. This isn't about communication or skill levels. It's about him wanting to spend time with another woman while making you feel crazy for noticing. Stop accepting his transparent excuses. He's not worried about your inferior skill level. He's trying to justify spending intimate time with another woman while making you feel inadequate. This isn't about hobbies. It's about respect, and you're getting none. OP says, thank you for your response. It hurts, but I needed to hear it. So your boyfriend is building a new relationship with another woman and is trying to blame you for forcing him to spend time with this other woman because you're not available? Ask him how he's available to you, and maybe you should reciprocate if it is all that innocent by having your own buddy for your hobby and spend that time with him. I doubt he would like that. OP says, he swore up and down to me that he is not cheating since it destroyed his family and he wouldn't do it to someone else. He says he is just happy to have a friend who shares a hobby with him and is easy to get along with. He admitted he wouldn't like it if I spent hours with another man every other day, but he still does it with her. Well, he could share that hobby with you, but now he is more advanced. So again, you are not worth it for him to help you level up, and you told him you don't like it, and your opinion doesn't matter because he still chooses himself and her over himself and you. If a friend came to you with this story, what would you say to her? You have to take care of yourself, your own self-worth, and your own boundaries. His words mean nothing if he isn't taking your feelings into consideration and still goes to spend more time with her. OP says, He said he doesn't want to feel restrained, needing to adapt to my level, and wants to challenge himself. When I asked if she challenges him, the answer was, yeah? Well, actually, no. In some parts. Why does it matter anyway? The more I read the comments here, the more naive and stupid I feel. Look, yeah, sometimes you do have to write it all down and then read over it again to just get an idea of how bad things are, because when you're living in the moment in situations like this, it's not immediately apparent how bad things have gotten until you step back and view it from the periphery. This man keeps changing his explanations depending on what benefits him the most in the moment, and then exploding at you when you calmly point out contradictions. And no, you're not policing him at all, you're just asking for consistency and reciprocity, but it doesn't seem like you're going to get that. Being bad at communication is not an excuse. That's just bullshit coming out of his mouth, and to me, I'm getting the vibe that this is emotional cheating at minimum. You need to set a clear, hard boundary with this man. But I kind of get the feeling that it's already too late, personally. And now, onto the update. About a year ago, I posted about my relationship situation where my partner got increasingly self-centered with minimal to no interest in me. I stopped investing effort that wasn't matched, as someone suggested, and started demanding more support and accountability. It got worse. He resented me for not being constantly available, started being mean and disrespectful, overly prioritizing his friends, especially female ones, over me, blaming me for everything that was wrong, telling me that I'm too hard on him because he just forgets, and that's not something to hold against him. He started raising his voice at me, telling me that I should just accept whatever he does. A few months ago, I went on a really intense business trip for a couple of weeks. Before that, he made sure that he was busy and we couldn't spend any real time together. He said my leaving was not a big deal. As soon as I left, he started spending time with his friends, especially one female. He took time for a weekend trip days before his biggest project of the year was due and told me he did it because he wanted to. It finally hit home that he wanted a maid, not someone to partner with and appreciate. I confronted him about it, and he broke up with me over the phone, saying that he's bored with me and my happy place, no drama, makes him profoundly miserable. It hurt, but I was done anyway. My besties toasted to the breakup with champagne behind my back. God bless them. Turns out they couldn't stand him and how he treated me, but respected me enough to stay silent and just support me. I love them to death. When he tried to backpedal, I didn't have it. He tried dating one of the girls that he was spending time with before we broke up. It didn't go well, just as predicted. Now he's circling back to me, saying that we just had a crisis in communication and that he learned from his mistakes. He wants a do-over, and I'm not having it. It turns out my life is calmer, more restful, and more steady without him in it. Now he's trying to restart contact and pushing all the buttons that he knows used to work. He doesn't realize that while he spent the last few months working on his next conquest, I spent them working on me, and those tricks don't work anymore. In the comments, he mistook your peace for emptiness and his noise for value. The trash took itself out. You upgraded. His do-over is just a request to downgrade you again. Stay free. And OP says, that's the plan. Thanks. Downvoted commenter says, so he ended up dumping you? That's just sad. OP says, when I showed him that I knew what he was doing, I told him it either changes or I am out. He apologized and said we'd fix it when I'd be back home. He broke up with me the next day. I think part of it was an effort to keep control. I am okay with that. I have final control of my life and am enjoying my drama-free status. He sounds like an adrenaline junkie who thrives on chaos. You are well rid of him. OP says, yup. He told me he was bored out of his skull with me and just wished I would yell at him sometimes. I know he'd like it because it would have given him an excuse to yell back. It took a while to realize that a lot of stupid disagreements we had were just him goading me into an argument so that he could let loose and enjoy the chaos he was controlling. That era of my life is now over. I was with my first boyfriend from 18 to 27. I go to lunch with a long-term friend. We'd all have gone to college together, so she knew him and spent time with him. The pure joy on her face when I told her I was unhappy and thinking about breaking up really cemented my decision. Like, damn, these red flags have been red the whole time. Many such cases, unfortunately. I just can never understand people who can't be happy unless there is chaos. Him saying to your face you're boring and your peace is boring is just so sad. Why be in a relationship at all if you're constantly thrill-seeking in that regard? What is the point? It's been 5 years. When did this change happen internally for him? How long has he been holding on to that for? Whatever the case, you made the right choice by yourself, OP. I hope he finds what he's looking for, but I really doubt that's going to happen. It kind of feels like a big empty void that he will never be able to fill. And that's really sad. Thank you for the update. Our next post is by user East Permit, and it's titled, "Am I overreacting? My boyfriend told me he wants to have good chemistry with another girl on my birthday. I, 23 female, just celebrated my 23rd birthday last night. My boyfriend Jake, 21 male, took me out to a bar with a couple of our mutual friends. For the most part, the night was going great until a girl that he knows from his college classes, we'll call her Sophie, showed up. Jake has mentioned Sophie before, mostly just saying that she's cool and in his study group. When she walked in, Jake got weirdly focused on her. Later in the night, while we were getting drinks at the bar, just the two of us, I made a comment about how he seemed distracted. He laughed it off and said, 'I'm just trying to make sure Sophie and I have really good chemistry. I want us to have a spark, you know.' I was stunned. I asked him what the hell that was supposed to mean, especially on my birthday. He got defensive immediately and told me that I was acting 23, implying I'm being old and serious, and that chemistry just means he wants them to be able to joke around so his study sessions aren't awkward. I told him that chemistry and sparks are romantic terms, and saying that to your girlfriend on her birthday is disrespectful. He called me insecure and said I was ruining my own birthday over a word choice. He spent the rest of the night acting distant and ended up talking to her for a good 20 minutes before we left. I feel like I'm being gaslit. To me, you don't look for chemistry with other women when you're in a committed relationship. Am I overreacting? Is this a maturity gap thing because he's 21? Or is he low-key telling me that he's interested in her? In the comments, it doesn't matter if he just wants to be friends with her. Ignoring you on your birthday and focusing on someone else is fucked. A partner who calls insecure when you're trying to express your emotions or concerns is not a real partner. They're either gaslighting you or are extremely immature and self-centered. You're not overreacting. You have a partner who is looking for his next hookup. If you tell someone something they're doing or said hurts you, and their response is anything other than, "I'm sorry, I don't ever want to hurt you, I won't do or say it again," or something along those lines, then they don't care about you. It is truly that simple. If that is understood, 90% of relationship problems would evaporate. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And that goes the other way around too. Couldn't agree more with that statement, and I don't understand why he couldn't just say, "Sorry about that, I realize what I said was wrong and it could be misinterpreted. I should have worded that better." Because I don't know how else saying to your girlfriend on her birthday that you want chemistry and a spark with another woman is supposed to be taken. That to me feels intentionally placed that way in order to get a reaction out of UOP. There's no maturity gap. This is an honesty gap. And at best, he's just being careless and defensive, but I kind of get the feeling he's testing your boundaries to see how much you'll tolerate. And now that he's found that line, he's employing classic Darvo strategies. I don't think you're overreacting. I think you should trust your gut on this one, OP. And now, onto the update. After reading through the response to my last post, a lot of things started to click. So many people pointed out that chemistry and sparks are not normal words to use for a platonic study partner, and especially not something you say to your girlfriend on her birthday. It made me realize that this wasn't just me being sensitive. Yesterday, I sat Jake down to talk about it calmly. I explained that what he said made me feel disrespected and undervalued, and that wanting chemistry with another woman is a boundary for me in a relationship. It didn't go the way I hoped. Instead of apologizing or trying to understand where I was coming from, he got defensive. He told me I was suffocating him and said that because he's 21, he should be allowed to vibe with whoever he wants. He admitted that he finds Sophie intellectually stimulating and that they have a connection that he didn't want to suppress just because it made me uncomfortable. Later on, I found out from a mutual friend who was there that while I was in the bathroom on my birthday, Jake was complaining to Sophie about how serious I am and how he wishes he had someone who just got his energy. That was kind of the final straw for me. At that point, it was clear that this wasn't just a bad choice of words or a maturity gap, because he was clearly actively venting to and bonding with another woman right in front of me on my birthday. I ended things last night. I told him that if he wants to explore chemistry with Sophie so badly, that he's free to do that as a single man. Once he realized I was serious, he tried to backtrack and said he was just projecting and feeling pressured by my age and expectations. I blocked him. I'm 23, finishing my degree, and I know what I want out of a relationship. I'm not going to be a placeholder or a starter girlfriend for someone who doesn't understand basic respect. It hurts, and my birthday definitely didn't turn out how I imagined, but I'd rather be single than stay with someone who's already looking for sparks somewhere else. In the comments, you are 2 years older than him. That's not a lot, but seems he might be a lot younger mentally. Good for you leaving his ass, not overreacting, and you're an absolute queen for how you handled it. That last paragraph was so powerful. You definitely deserve someone at your same maturity level, and I know that I'm just some internet rando, but I'm cheering you on. I know it sucks right now, but damn, go you. You know what you want, you stated it, and you stuck to it. That takes all kinds of self-awareness and self-respect. I have no doubt that you'll be much happier in the end. And congrats on not settling and setting your bar on the ground. Anybody else take some psychic damage upon reading that OP's ex thought that being 23 equals being old and serious? 36-year-old me, the ex is wild for this. Ignoring how absolutely stupid it is to call a 23-year-old old? Honestly, I'm of the mentality that when you start calling people old as an insult, you've lost. We get old, dude. It's fucking nature. Being young is not the flex you think it is. Here, my 28-year-old ass is crumbling into the ground as we speak, when a 23-year-old is being called old. I guess it really was just one of those situations where he was trying to find a reason to get out of the relationship, or getting her to be so submissive and okay with his obvious boundary pushing that she would just accept that he's basically cheating on her. I don't like either of those situations, so I'm glad that OP at least came to Reddit, got some honest third-party advice about what to do and why he was doing what he's doing, and made the right choice for herself. Congratulations, OP. You lost some dead weight, and you've gained confidence as a result. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.